Welcome to AAPC Social Hour for March 8th. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
Dave. Hey,
Hi.
Melissa.
Hey,
Jackie.
Hi.
Hello.
We're pumped to be here.
We've got a great crew.
We are.
We have three visitors or four viewers. Everyone's trickling in.
All right.
Nice.
We just lost Melissa, darn it.
She'll
So
be
hopefully
back.
she gets back. Yeah.
She will be.
Well, speaking of being back, Jackie's back 2 weeks in a row.
Was it that just last week or the week before? I've lost track. But it's
Yes.
always great to spend time with you, Alex, and thanks for the invitation.
Thanks, Jackie. Can't wait to hear what you have to share.
I can't wait either because I'm not really quite sure yet, but we're all going to find out at the same time.
That's always the best, right?
I know.
You just set
totally.
Jackie free, just set her loose.
It could be
Yes.
so fun. I'm telling you, you don't know what you'd get. It's frightening.
If you missed us last week, we won't make you go
I'm
through the
sorry.
full introduction again. No, it was great. Jackie
It was
is,
very good.
yeah, Jackie's a former NAB president and just all around amazing person.
Oh, that's so kind.
You're welcome.
Check is in the mail, Alex. Check is in the mail.
You must be paying a lot of people because a lot of people say that, Jackie.
We got Melissa coming back here. Dave, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Dave Kaiser. I'm part of the digital media team, so responsible for live streaming and videos and just fun times as well.
I agree with that.
And he's
I agree.
fabulous. Smart
Oh.
guy. Very
You know,
fabulous.
Dave,
Very smart gentleman here.
he has a great energy about him.
He does.
I'm just
Yeah.
always excited. I think I was born just constantly
Ready for
excited. So
something.
I
yeah.
love it.
Yes.
Dave, how long have you worked at AAPC for? A long time.
Yeah, I'm coming up on next month. It'll be 12 years. So
Wow.
good little stretch. And we've
Wow.
grown
No,
so much. Our
I
membership has grown
know.
so much. It's awesome.
And you've had many roles at AAPC.
hmm
And,
Yeah, I started out in the marketing department, and I was just editing audio for our audio conferences. We didn't even call them webinars back then. So it was just voice over PowerPoint, which I guess it's not too far from where we're at now with some of our products, but the content is good. And was doing that, and then transitioned into doing some front end and some back end, doing instructional design. So some of the courses, like if you've taken recently our CPC course within the past couple years or more, probably more, I was involved in putting those modules together and trying to make it more interactive and engaging. And now I'm just almost strictly doing video. So it's nice.
Okay. All right. Real quick, before we get to Melissa, I just want to give a shout out to a few people. Lady from California, she says, Jackie, I love the red glasses. Yes.
Yeah, I got rid of the red shoes. I wear them on occasion. If anybody remembers the red stilettos that I wore at the conference all the time. So now it's just red glasses as I age.
You'll have to pass the stilettos on to someone else, right? Like,
I can't give them up.
you can't.
I'll still
Okay.
wear them.
Oh no, yeah. If you want to wear them, still wear them.
I will will them to someone because they are great.
Hey, I see a new face watching Samantha Lynn from Colorado. My neighbor, I guess, Dave, you're down south in southern Utah, but Samantha, where in Colorado are you? How long have you been an AAPC member for? How long have you been coding for? Tell us everything. We want to know.
The questions.
Yes. Beverly Stover, good to see you. Mariah Peters from Midcoast, Maine. Glad to have you. Midcoast, Maine is kind of AAPC Melissa's neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Melissa, tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what you do at AAPC.
Sure. I work remote and I am in Maryland, so I'm East Coast. I am one of the events managers for AAPC. My better half is currently off site right now. She'll be on shortly, Sophia. So we work together, doing all the logistics for the meetings as far as creating the FOMO for it, creating the getting all the hotel stuff done, getting all the food and beverage, doing just everything you can imagine that happens at a conference. We handle it all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Party planning sounds like a lot of fun, but I've seen your life behind the scenes and it is a lot of work. You guys do so much. And as not only when you get closer to the event, and this is speaking to Dave too, just for you guys, as you get closer to the event, it gets really chaotic, and then just trying to make sure everything runs smoothly at the event. It's a lot of work for you guys.
A ton of work, but we try to be, if any hiccups happen, we make sure that they're not seen. So that's the best part of it. I mean, everything does happen behind. We want to give all our attendees a great experience. So yeah, we try really, really hard.
Okay. Awesome. God, we're seeing new faces all the time here. And Sophia is not a new face.
Yay.
But yes, Sophia, we're so glad
Hi.
you could be with us. I know you're juggling babies and just trying to get on here, but we're so glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at AAPC.
Yeah, I'm Sophia. I've been with AAPC like 2.5 years now, and I am the other conference manager. So Melissa and I are partners, and we plan all things all conference. So we do a lot. We have a lot of events at AAPC, so
yeah,
it's year round.
And you guys live thousands of miles apart from each other. Does that make it more difficult, or I just imagine you probably spend a lot of time on virtual calls together?
Yeah, a lot of meetings together just to catch up, make sure we're on the same page. But it's kind of nice to be, I mean, we work virtually. Like, I mean, Alex, you live up the road from me, but we don't ever see each other either.
That's true. That's a great point. Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah, it's true.
We have Mary Beth Horn from Tennessee. She says Northeast Tennessee. So Mary Beth, the question is will you be at HealthCon this year? We need to know how close is Northeast. I'm assuming NE Tennessee means Northeast Tennessee. How close are you to Nashville? And tell us about yourself. How long you've been coding for? How long you've been an AAPC member for? Would love to hear your story. Denitra Smiley from Ackworth, but in Charleston, South Carolina, and that's her hometown. So we know Charleston.
Yeah, we do.
We love
beautiful
Charleston.
area.
Love it.
Charleston's a fun city.
Mhm.
Yes. Denitra, were you at our regional conference there a few years back? Let us know if you attended that. We had a great time there. So much history in Charleston.
Yeah.
We loved it out there. Okay. Well, guys, before we get into the thick of what we want to share, we have a few guests that we're going to have on with us. Terry Fletcher and Renee Dussman. And we know Renee because she manages the magazine Healthcare Business Monthly. And here they come. All right. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
It's good to see you. You are live, by the way. I don't want to catch you off guard. You are
Okay.
live right now with AAPC members.
Hi.
And we've got Renee. Renee, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. It's good to see you. Terry, well, we know Renee is in New York. Terry, where are you located?
I'm in Southern California, so Laguna Beach.
All right. And how's the weather in Laguna Beach?
Well, we are whining because we say we're cold because it's 60 degrees. It's sunny, but we're freezing. I have a heater on in my office.
Oh, that is so funny.
I know.
It's 28 degrees.
We don't wear long sleeves in March, and we're just like, what the heck, So.
The snow I had to shovel off my driveway yesterday.
I was going to say, nobody
a little
feels sorry
job.
for me at all. I just know that.
Yeah. Well, Terry, when we come from here in Utah, and Sophia, Dave, I think Renee probably gets this too, and most of us probably do. But when we come from our hard winters to 60 degrees, we're wearing shorts and flip-flops, and it's like the heat wave comes.
I know.
It's great.
I know.
I've got on 3 layers. If it's 60 degrees, I'm freezing.
Oh,
I know. I was teaching a class in Arizona recently, and it was, I think, 81 outside, and people had sweaters on in the classroom. Like, what are you guys doing? It's pretty funny.
Well, Terry, real quick about yourself. How long have you been an AAPC member for?
Since 92 is when I got my first certification.
Wow.
So,
And
long
were you
time.
coding before that?
Yes, I was. And it's funny because now I'm going to date myself, but you can tell from the 90s, right? It was when we typed claims, had pegboard systems. Remember that? I'm sure some of you remember
Yes.
that.
Oh, yes.
And also when the CPT book only based their E&M codes on time. It was 900, 60, 70, 80. It didn't matter if they talked about golf in the room with the patient. There were no guidelines. It was just, did you spend 30 minutes? This is what you get.
Just codes.
Just
With a
codes.
big visit, a
So,
little visit.
been a long time. Yeah. A very long time.
Oh man. And so the organization has grown so much. I mean, because you were there practically at the start. 1988 is when we're founded, I believe.
Yeah.
Jackie, how long have you been an AAPC member for?
Same as Terry, 92.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
can age myself with you, Terry, any day.
Any day.
Good.
Try me.
Well, when you said pegboards, Terry, I was thinking of the old light brights.
Oh no.
Was it similar? No.
No, what it was actually a card, and when the patient came in, you had to put it on. Oh my gosh, you had to put it on an actual board that that made a copy of it. So you pressed really hard on this piece of paper. Well, it was kind of like a cardboard thing, and then the pegboard you just kept. It was like the old check style, and then it kind of seeped through, and it worked terrible. We could never tell, what kind of visit they had, and it was like you hold it up to the light, but yeah, it was. And we had like a little card catalog where we kept the patients when they came in. We pulled them out of a card. Oh, JC, I'm bringing back memories for us.
Oh
aren't
yeah.
I?
Oh yeah. It was good. It
So,
was
yeah.
good.
We've
It
come a
was
long
all
way.
manual, very manual.
With Jackie and Terry having been members and coders and healthcare professionals as long as you have, I think this question coming in from our comments is appropriate. So Miki Billy Dream, I don't know if that's your real name or if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. But she says, would you help members to prepare to work with AI such as ChatGPT? I know on my end, I've been exploring that. It's pretty fascinating. She says, ChatGPT is bringing me some anxiety of losing my coding job in the future. And Jackie, you're shaking your head. Tell me your initial thoughts.
So 2 things. I think it's a very important question, and I think it's something we all need to be aware of. So, and the only way I can answer it is from an opinion, and part of this opinion comes from my age group. So it's just like looking at automating your audit software. You can automate anything. But if you don't understand what you're working with to begin with, you'll never know if it gave you something good or bad. You still have to know what you're doing. Something still has to program these things. You still have to know what you're reading, and does it make sense, and where the fallacies are, or it's useless. So you still are responsible for understanding these machines, AI, whatever, cannot think for you, and they can't read a note or create this type of information. And maybe I'm being crazy because of my age, but I've seen it in practice. If you don't know what you're dealing with to begin with, then you will put your trust in this, and you'll have a very bad product in the end. Yes, there are ways to make things quicker, but it's never going to do your work for you. That's my opinion.
Right. And my take on it is, first of all, my daughter's a high school teacher, and she teaches at an AP high school. So these kids are all college bound, they want all the college courses. And she's had several kids that have used the ChatGPT for their papers. And she's had to bring them up on, cheating, because they used that, and that's how they turned it in. And they said, "What do you mean? That's not cheating." She said, "I gave them the topic." She's like, "But you didn't write your own paper." And it just got me thinking in healthcare. And it's funny that somebody asked that question, because I was podcasting on this week, And I must have received at least a half a dozen DMs in my LinkedIn profile that said, but Terry, Chat GPT is the way of the future. But Terry, and here's my take on it, very similar to JC. We're trying to get away from cut and paste and, use the EMR templates and things as guidelines, not as replacements of the thought process for a physician. And remember, CAC, computer assisted coding, is assisted. It doesn't mean replacement and instead of the physician or the coder coding. And so I think once you get too much help with fill in the blank, you end up getting kind of lazy in the process. But one of the biggest problems I'm seeing, and this is from a lot of the software developers on the Chat GPT or something similar to that, is just a perfect example. I'm in cardiology. I have a multi-specialty, but that's my main specialty. Let's say that you're doing a heart cath with an intervention. Well, if there's a previous catheter-based heart cath that was billed diagnostically, and then let's say that provider does not do stenting, whatever, so they transfer them to the interventional physician, but they, let's say, inject the coronaries or do another cath to set up that planned procedure. You can't bill for it, and it's the same code, and a bot or a Chat GPT will see that language within the report and try to code for it. But those of us that are coders and understand the circumstances know when something is diagnostic versus something is set up or just or post angiography. And this is where the blurred lines come in. You have to understand the circumstance, not just the language. And so I think there's a little bit of a disconnect. Sorry, that was long-winded, I know.
Yeah, I think even just the adaptability and the flexibility, anytime you go into the workforce or if you're already in the job force, you've got to be ready at any point to be able to pivot and to flex just based on industry trends. And this AI thing kind of crept up on us slowly, and then all of a sudden just boom, just out of nowhere, big hype around it. Personally, I think a lot of it is going to be hype in the beginning, but there are going to be some big changes that a lot of companies are going to make to automate processes. So I think just staying nimble and realizing that those changes are coming, I think will help a lot so that we're not taken by surprise.
This is go ahead, Renee.
I was talking to my husband actually last night about it, and he's in automation, and he said, there's a lot of hype, like you said, Dave, about it right now, but really, AI has been around for a long time. It's already in existence, and it's been, facilitating behind the scenes for quite a while. And it's just coming more mainstream, and we just need to learn how to work with it. But it can't replace us. You can't put AI in charge, because AI, if it looks at everything that we all do and factors in everything, it just kind of implodes.
Did you guys see how it was talking back to people and getting hostile? Did you see
Yeah.
that post? Elon Musk posted something where he said, yeah, we did some testing and it was getting hostile with us, and then it got mad and was threatening us
Yeah.
because we didn't listen to it. And I was like, whoa. Okay.
If my Alexa talks back to me, I'm unplugging that thing.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He does get spicy.
Yes.
You know,
Automation in healthcare. Well, it won't be the first time automation is hit different industries. So I know in marketing, what I do, marketing automation and AI has crept in. And this is several years back, and I think there was concern about people losing jobs, but you still need people to run those things, and they aren't perfect. And I think as technology evolves, we'll see it affect every industry. But it doesn't mean we lose our jobs. We might need to adapt a little bit to better support those tools. Also, you guys, Jackie and Terry, you guys there are so many avenues within the business of healthcare. And as we know, so many people start as CPTs or CPCs and pure coders, and then branch off into auditing, compliance management, and all these other many different places, education. So there will always be jobs. There will always be jobs.
Yes.
Real quick, Terry, Kimberly Williams says, Terry Fletcher is phenomenal,
Oh,
all
geez.
caps. I have learned so much from her.
Thank you. That's very
Yes.
nice.
So, and we have you on because we want to talk about your article in the most recent Healthcare Business Monthly, the March edition, Information Blocking, a Costly Mistake. So tell us about that article. What inspired you to write that, Terry?
Well, like you said, I think a lot of us start off as coders and then all of a sudden we get these branches that come out where as a coder, you have to be compliant. So all of a sudden compliance kind of hits your wheelhouse. And then people are like, well, you kind of know your codes. Do you want to train for us or educate? And so now we're doing all kinds of things, but except for, and not always focused just on coding, but on everything. Well, a lot of my clients, since I'm an independent consultant, run into the situation of having to share information. The Cures Act came out, and just everything that has to do with patients trying to access their information. And a question kept coming up saying, well, I'm not going to give my patient that information if they don't pay their bill. I'm like, hold on a second. So it doesn't work that way. It's kind of like saying that if you don't pay child support, you don't get access to your kid. It doesn't work that way, so you have to be careful when you just think of money in relationship to compliance and what you're doing. You have to be very cautious with that. So that's kind of what inspired the article, to do the research and find out not only what the Cures Act says for 2021, which has expanded the role of what patients can access and be entitled to, but also the nuances of questions that come up like that. If they owe me money, can I block them from getting anything till they pay me? No. But so here's a caveat. So I have a podiatrist that was saying, they owe me for their diabetic shoes. I said, well, you can hold on to their shoes until they pay for those because that's a tangible item, but you can't hold on to the information they're requesting that includes the prescription for those shoes. So they're entitled to that. So knowing the differences on that as well is really important. But the article kind of encompasses when a patient requests their records, their information. We used to have a list, and before October 6th of last year, used to just be the core. So, if they want an x-ray report, if they want maybe a chart note, things like that. Now they get everything they request. Unless it is detrimental to them from a legal perspective or mental health, if the physician feels that it would harm them to get that information, and they'd have to document that. And there's other things too. Back in the day, it used to be HIV, things like that. You couldn't release unless there was a conversation about that. But you can't delay it. Now you have time limits, 30 days, and then there's 60 days for certain extensions, and the fines are ridiculous if you don't allow. But the biggest thing is, and I guess I want to say this to the people that are listening, don't ignore the request and don't brush off the patient. We see that where a patient will call or they'll ask if they can have their information, and somebody will say, well, we have a patient portal for that. Go onto your portal, and then they'll just, the patient, they'll push them aside. If you want to walk them through the portal and see if what they're requesting is there, then that's okay. But you have to give them what they request in a timely manner. And, and there's a lot more rules that you can read in the article, but you can't push them off. And if the patient says, well, I have Doximity, let's say, and I want to get it through there, and you have the ability to give them their records through the app they're requesting, then you also have to comply there. So there's a lot of rules, a lot of guidelines, a lot of safeguards, and it's very patient friendly. And it's a little bit challenging for the providers. So you need to know what your rules are.
HIPAA is so incredibly nuanced.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, to see you, blow out this topic as in depth as you have. And you also, at the end of your article, you kind of take on, we'll call it a maybe common questions that someone may have.
Yeah, a couple of questions.
Okay. All right. And are you like a HIPAA educator as well? Do you do training and things
I do.
in your facility?
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned HIPAA because HIPAA is part of the information blocking, but it's not all about HIPAA. It's more about the request. Because for example, let's say a doctor to doctor requesting records. So patient says, yeah, go send it to my doctor. There is, and I hate to call it an innate authorization, but it's not as specific to get that sign off from the patient. They can switch information. I mean, Medicare wants to do that value-based thing. They keep pushing towards that, which means everybody gets access to everything from a healthcare perspective. This is more information blocking. The Cures Act is more about patient to provider and what they have to release, and then how you can't block that release. The one thing, and maybe some of you can also speak to this that are in the space, that I find interesting is they didn't ask, or they say that it could be considered information blocking if you're requesting the patient to give you ID, but we want to we want to make sure that it's the correct patient. Otherwise, you could get in trouble. So there's a little bit of a gray area there when it comes to, do they have to give a driver's license or, passport, whatever they have, picture ID. They have to verify who they are or the agent they've allowed to release the records to. And how you choose to get that, as long as it doesn't block them in the time period you have, seems to be okay with the government. And I think there's some issues there for me, because I'd want to make sure that I had a picture ID.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing, Terry. I'm going to jump over to Renee. Renee, I see you have 2 bylines in March. So what?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So what is your favorite article in the March HBM? And you cannot say one of mine.
No, I wouldn't. No, actually, mine is kind of related to the topic we were talking about a minute ago, as far as how you can become like a coder and kind of branch off, and you're not limited to just one role. I really liked Don't Be Afraid of Entry-Level Positions by Natasha Timberlake. And I mean, the article kind of applies to every profession, because I've seen this myself. Before COVID, working at home was, a coveted position, and I worked at home for, I don't know, 15 years probably. And people would be like, oh, how did you get that job? As if it was like just posted and you could just apply to it, and it was like, it doesn't work that way. You have to work up to the position that you want. And it may not be a straight climb up the ladder. You might have to, pivot and turn just like anything else. And you never know where you're going to end up. And you have to be willing to start somewhere and use that experience to keep moving in the, till you get to where you want to be.
Yes.
And that's kind of what she talks about.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, check that out, especially if you're a CPCA, maybe looking for that first job and you're seek to get into the facility or a healthcare office. I mean, you may not land in a coding job right away. Gina Piccarelli told me once that she met someone who was working in the cafeteria at the facility she was working at, and they asked her, where do you work? She said in the medical coding department, and she the person in the cafeteria said, oh, I just finished my certification in that, and that led to them getting a job. I'm not saying you need to be a cook to be a coder, but just be open to the different possibilities of how you get to where you want to be. Terry, so you have a podcast? You're a podcaster?
I do. I have a couple of them. The Codecast podcast. We actually just hit 480,000 downloads, so I was pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
It's just coding, billing, reimbursement, compliance information. It's every hashtag Terry Tuesday. I have coined the phrase. And then also on the compliance guy with Sean Weiss, we do 2 segments a week. And then a couple other ones. And if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, I'm on Steel City Underground. I do one for NFL. So you name it, I'm out there. I do one with real estate for my brother too. It's funny. So I'm all over the place. I love podcasting.
Well, there are a few comments in there talking about your podcast, so
Oh,
you should get a few more subscribers after today.
That's great. Thank you. Actually, I wanted to comment on something that
go ahead.
Renee said real quick as far as that one article. You know, we get a lot of DMs. I'm sure everybody gets a lot of emails. You know, I'm struggling to find my coding position. I just got certified. Renee brought up a really good point. And I think Natasha's article did too. I read it as well. One of the things that you have to do, and this is to the listeners out there, you know, get your foot in the door. I mean, just think if you start at the front desk, how relieved and how happy you'll be once you get to a coding position, but also the point of reference you'll have. And it's not discounting the front desk. I think that's one of the hardest jobs out there. You're the first, you know, look at what the physician's practice is. So you kind of set the tone. Think if you're in prior authorizations, that's a huge issue now, especially with Medicare and CMS saying that's going to be a big industry for them and moving forward, and all the challenges there. And if you can get prior authorizations to help get things paid, and then you move on to the coding with a coding credential, you're golden. So, you know, health information management. I mean, there's just so many opportunities in healthcare. Get your foot in the door and try not to have some kind of tunnel vision that coding. I mean, I realize AAPC is a coding body, but it's also a healthcare organization that recognizes that there's so many branches of healthcare to really grasp and embrace, that coding, you know, just enhances that position. So get your foot in the door and it'll come. So just try not to just say, if I can't get coding, I'm defeated. That's a really bad way to look at it. And it's not starting at the bottom or starting at the top or starting in the middle. It's actually building your future and starting your path to where you want to be.
Well, Terry, you have support from Miranda Morgan, who is a diehard Steelers fan. She might pick up on your Steelers podcast. Lori Harmelo says she grew up in PA, but she's in Colorado now, so she's a Broncos fan. And then there's a skull, like there's some contention happening, some football rivalries.
Oh no.
Melissa Morris Funk says she's super excited for Nashville. I am. I know we all are. We're looking forward to it. Terry, are you going to Nashville?
I am not going to Nashville. I might do the hybrid. I think it's still available. I travel 200 days a year for 20 years. So I've really cut that back quite a bit.
Okay. So our events team who is with us, HealthCon 2023 in Nashville will be available hybrid like we've been doing through the pandemic. Is that right?
Yes.
You can attend virtually. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. So
it's all
we
live
had
streamed. So, you know, it's like you're there really. So it's pretty cool how we do it.
You guys do a really good job with that. It seems like a difficult challenge, but I attended one hybrid, I think 2 years ago, and it was really done well. So thank you for all the work you put into that.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we have a good team. And as we do more and more of these, we try and streamline it, make them better and better, and also make them more engaging. So if you are attending virtually, we really are trying our best to keep you involved and knowing what's going on, feeling like you're there without actually being there. Yeah. But also we really encourage you to be there in person because the energy is different. It's just, they're two different avenues. They're both great. I personally, I love the in-person, but like you, Terry, I once a year is good to travel. Beyond that, I don't know.
So Dave, I have a question for you.
Home's great.
Dave, are you in your side hustle? Do you do like radio? Your voice is just reminds me of, and I don't know, anybody seen that movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams?
Yeah. Robin
You're
Williams.
like the jazz guy. You're the jazz voice on the radio.
So
That's awesome.
smooth.
You totally you need to end everything with Smooth Jazz by Dave, AAPC.
Yeah, maybe it'll be Alex's next podcast series or whatever. But I used to play music and record music and everything. So This is just my mid-morning voice.
Is that how it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a little more
very
gravelly.
soothing. I'm kind of liking it there.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah.
the first hybrid session I ever saw was JC actually, and it was one of the best sessions I've ever seen on. I think it was E&M, but it was great.
Wow.
So
We
it was
always have
awesome.
fun. I'll just say that we do have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you watch virtually, I cannot promise that Dave and I will be hosting another exercise session.
Aw,
That was hilarious.
that was the best.
We get roped into the weirdest things,
I
and
know.
we do them because we're the
Amazing.
puppets and the puppet master
Yeah,
pulling our
y'all
strings.
are amazing. This team here is amazing, and y'all make it look easy. And I think we all know it's not, but y'all do make it so easy for the speakers, and you make it look so effortless on your part. We don't see you stress, and I know there's got to be stress. Y'all are really, truly an amazing group.
Well, I really like Sophia. What do you say about stress and planning or whatever with your events? What's like your
These
little
events just
catchphrase?
plan themselves. You
Oh,
just
They
show
plan.
up.
Yeah.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of, but
We
it
know
was
that's
something to
not
the
true,
effect
though.
of like
We know all the work you put in.
if we plan well enough, I'm not stressed, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
we've done the
if you
work that
do-
we're supposed to do, yeah,
If we did our job, then we shouldn't
Yeah.
have any stress.
Yeah.
which is awesome. Yeah.
Well, you guys, we're so glad to have had Terry and Renee on with us. Renee, would you like to do a quick pitch for writing for the magazine?
Yes, I would. Yeah, for all of you out there, just wanted to make sure you know that we do accept article contributions. It's a large part of what keeps Healthcare Business Monthly going is all the information that all our members are willing to share with other members. And we would love to get an article from you. And I'm sure Alex can put the link to the portal where they can submit the articles. And even if you just have a topic that you would like covered that you haven't seen, send me an email at renee.dustman@aapc.com.
I think we need to have Terry back on sometime to talk about how she earns her CEUs. There are very few people who have as many credentials after the name, Terry.
I have to get 55 every 2 years. Let me tell you. Thank God that AAPC finally started letting us use our teaching, because otherwise it was challenging. So
Okay.
But,
Well,
yeah.
we'll have to talk about that sometime.
thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Terry. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
So you guys, HealthCon. It's all about
coming.
HealthCon right now. We're so excited. Tell us about what's going on and what you guys have up your sleeves.
Nashville is just gonna be fun. I don't know how else to say it. We are stacking day in and day out, all 4 days with like fun from start to finish. Like we want you to show up and be an unforgettable event and be with your fellow coders and medical team, like everyone that's in the industry with you, and feel the camaraderie of a live event and just leave feeling refreshed, renewed, and invigorated for your next step in your career.
I think we all, if you've been in the industry for a little bit and you know AAPC, you know that the content at these conferences is always great. The speaker selection, it's such great content. And we're wanting to pair that great content with a great experience as well.
Right.
And a lot of the events that the two of you, Melissa and Sophia, that you guys have planned, you've also made readily accessible to most everyone that's there, right?
Yeah. Yep. So this time we've done, everybody's invited. It's not a VIP where anybody has to pay extra to come to any of these events. We have that welcome reception that we're going to do on Sunday night, where we can meet all the exhibitors, and we're going to have a live band, and we're going to have some line dancing. And then on Monday night, we're going to do with Codify, they're going to do a happy hour where they're going to do some codifying. I'm not sure what, but some type of codifying stuff. And then on Tuesday morning, we're going to actually do some more line dancing lessons, because on that night we are shuttling everybody down to downtown Nashville at the Wild Horse Saloon. So there we're going to be going dancing, and so we're doing all this line dancing to prep everybody to be on that famous dance floor. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this event.
So does that mean I need to buy Wranglers, you guys?
I would bring your boots. I would, and bring your boots. And if you got, some cowboy hair, hat wear. Yeah.
And if
Well,
you don't, there are plenty
Oh,
of
yes.
shops everywhere.
Yeah, we almost bought a pair.
Yeah.
And they have the
They
boot
had
store
the
there
deal.
that was like buy
Three for buy three, get one, or
I know.
one of them, I don't know. You have to buy three, but then the other two were free.
Free,
And
yeah.
what a
It's
deal. We were
amazing.
like
Yep.
wrapped in, trying on boots, like in it.
Yeah, we were. It was fun.
Well, we have several members who have stated that they'll be attending in Nashville. Mary
Yay.
Beth, we talked about Melissa Funk, Lori Jaramillo. Let us know if you'll be attending and what you look forward to most. Lori says she can't wait to hear from AAPC's own Caitlin Brock, and who's amazing, and Sarah Reagan. She's so good as well. This great people and who speak so well and have great topics to talk about. Speaking about education, Jackie, you are part of that committee, of the committee that determines the speakers and the topics and all of those things. Tell us about that process.
Sure. So each year, AAPC puts out that call for speakers, and we get the submissions. And if we have individuals who are submitting as new speakers, have never spoken at a regional or a HealthCon, we may ask them to submit a video. So we'll get a feel for how they are presenting, how they do with both a PowerPoint and speaking at the same time. And it's hard, to be quite honest with you. It's very hard because we get so many fabulous topics. And what we're looking for is not trying to have too many of the same topic. So we're looking for that one approach that maybe will stand out a little bit more uniquely, or sometimes we'll get that person who submits a topic and it's like, wow, no one else submitted in that arena, and it's a perfect topic and everybody likes it. So it's not an easy job or responsibility to go through the submissions, but we have a very strong committee that does work on that. And the committee can be found with the conference information. We're not like hiding ourselves. So all the individuals on that committee, all our names are there. But what we're trying to do, and I pulled up the agenda just so I would be able to address this and not base anything on my memory. But we really tried to, especially with HealthCon, look at the baby. He's so sweet. I'm sorry, that just melts my heart. But what we really, really tried to do is we have what we call general coding. These are the topics that would kind of work for anyone along just a general path, modifier issues. They work for anybody. And then we're trying to fill up specialty coding. So all the dermatology. So like looking at it for this year, we've got so many good specialty topics. And this is where I tell individuals, when you're looking at this, don't stick to things you know, start going to things you don't know. Whether you don't know if you'll ever be in that coding arena or not, but how great to be able to walk away from this conference understanding a part of that CPT manual or ICD-10 manual that you never knew anything about before. You don't have to stay in your lane. This is an opportunity to go all over the place. So we try to fill that up. For HealthCon, we really do want to be able to provide information for our facility coders, both on the outpatient and inpatient side. This is where we really struggle. So if you are a facility coder and you have some really great experience, please give us some thoughts of what you would like to hear, or would you be willing to speak? And if you've never spoken before, one of us will be glad to help you. If you have the information, it's like submitting an article to the Healthcare Business Monthly. If you have the knowledge, they're going to make you look good. They're skilled at writing, but you just need to give them the information. Same thing here. If you have the information, but you're not sure about speaking, we'll help you get there. But we're always looking for speakers on our facility side. Again, being HealthCon, we like to fill up practice management, billing, and then audit and compliance. And under audit, we tend to, a lot of people want to see things about evaluation and management. Risk adjustment, HCC is getting very popular. People want to see more in that. So we do our best to try to spread that out, as well as consistently go with the topics that have always been challenging. So again, it's not the easiest job, but it is a lot of fun. But I do want you to believe we understand our responsibility. We take it very seriously that we are providing the education to the members who are willing to come and join us or join virtually. And I gotta say it again, these three conference people here speak so humbly. Oh, it's just a job, we do it. No, these people are incredible, and they make it seamless and make it easy. And it's such a fun experience, whether it's virtual or in person. But I've got to agree with Dave, being in person is absolutely fabulous. We have a good time and there's some great energy. But we've got some just incredible topics this year. I'm seeing, I mean, we're like drilling down in dermatology. We even have pathophysiology for heart disease. I mean, seriously, where else are you going to get that? I mean, incredible topics. We will be drilling down into some of these 2023 guidelines for evaluation and management. Our fabulous Ray Marie will be talking about the ED coding again. We have some great topics under facility, both for inpatient facility and outpatient. Somebody's going to be talking about PCS coding. And this is, I mean, we are also trying to recognize challenges that not everybody has to deal with. But so even if it's not the largest session, I mean, we have a session talking about gender neutral birth certificates and transgender identification in the EMR and billing. That's a challenge. So we want our members to know that we are also trying to raise the bar and recognize topics that do challenge certain types of facilities in certain geographic areas as well. And we want to feel like we are giving that information back. When we think about HealthCon, we are trying to raise the bar a bit. Regionals are a fabulous place for new speakers to kind of test the waters. But when we get to HealthCon, we know there's an expectation there, and we're doing our best to cover beginning to middle to more advanced topics as well. But I really want to stress, we do take it very seriously, and we are looking for recommendations. And I promise you, if you have the topic and are not sure of your skill set, just let us know that, and we will be glad to work with you. We can get you speaking, and it would be great.
A few more members have mentioned that they're coming. Natasha Timberlake, she says she can't wait to meet everyone in person. And Natasha is someone I see all over the AAPC social media communities. And she, a lot of people change their profile pics, but Natasha hasn't over the years. And I know that face, and I can't wait to meet you in person, Natasha. Stacy Sylvester says this will be her first year. Deanne Moody, she's also attending. Oh, she's attending this year, and it will be her first as well. And Sarah Reagan says, I'm coming, but I'm not speaking. I'm going to hang out with Jackie in the auditing portion. So there you go.
Fun. And we are going to have this year, it's not on the agenda, but this year we're also having I think they're using the phrasing, ask the experts. And one of the mornings, which morning is it? Is it Tuesday? I don't know which morning it's is.
Sunday morning.
Sorry,
It's actually in the afternoon. So it's 12 to 1, Ask the Expert series. Yeah. So there'll be 5 different. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have it for billing, coding, compliance, and I might be saying it wrong, maybe billing, practice management. And you can just sit in and ask questions, and it'll be a panel type of environment. And it's gone well before, and we'd like to continue that. We've found that our members do like panels. And as speakers, we like panels. It's nice to be able to share information with other people, and it seems to go really well. And we've found that does really well in the virtual environment. Also, it works comfortably. And I apologize if I keep looking off. My webinar is also running right now, and I'm answering questions on the webinar and doing this at the same time because, I just love AAPC, and I'm just going to dig into all that I can.
Dave, what do you have up your sleeve? Tell us about what's going on your end for HealthCon.
Oh, well, for HealthCon, I mean, a lot of it that I'm doing is just kind of a little more preparation behind the scenes. But what we're wanting to do is give our virtual attendees a little more insight into some of the things that maybe they might not see otherwise. So I know, Alex, you're going to be walking around during the welcome reception, live streaming that. So we're going to assist with that. We're also going to do what we did in, gosh, now I can't remember where it was, but where we had a little booth set up, like really for you to be able to bring NAB members in, bring members in, do interviews, just so that those that are virtual can get a little bit more, I guess, get to know some of our members and NAB members a little bit more closely. But there's going to be, music and fun things. And there's probably going to be more that we are still planning, that little filler acts. And we're also working, this is probably a good opportunity to plug we're accepting submissions for a talent thing. I really bossed that. What I meant to say was that if you're interested in performing at HealthCon before some of our morning sessions, before some of our generals, we're accepting submissions. And that can just be a video on your cell phone of you singing. We are looking for someone to sing the national anthem. And then any other sort of nicer kind of musical vocal things. Or if you play an instrument and want to sing and play, that would be something we'd entertain too. So if you're interested in that, Alex, I can give you the link and you can push that out.
And feel free to message me on my AAPC Alex account. Just send me a private message and I'll send you a link if you're interested in that. Dave, you talk about just showing the experience, and that's something that we would love. We always want to do. I mean, the networking and camaraderie and socializing is so amazing, and it leads to relationships that last a lifetime, and it leads to new career opportunities and maybe new career paths that you didn't expect. So we hope, if you can't make it, whether it's virtually or in person, we hope that you can come and see us sometime. Mary Beth asks if the famous Eclipse 6 will be back.
No.
Sorry, they won't, but not this year.
They're great. Yeah.
Oh, there are a lot of, we had a meeting about this recently, a lot of different talent that will be attending, and we don't want to share all of that right now, but there's a lot that we're excited about. Sophia, what are you excited about?
I'm excited for Nashville hot chicken and barbecue and mac and cheese.
All the food, yeah.
No, I think that it's just like the experience of being on site of it, like at an event, and like not just because we plan it and we put so much effort into it, and to see it all come together is so exciting, but to watch the members enjoy like this experience that we kind of foresaw it's really an incredible thing to be able to do. And I think that this year especially, we focused in on how do we get people to enjoy the time. And yes, the education is always at the forefront because we have our amazing education committee that does the 80 sessions. But when you travel for a conference, you're not just like, yes, you're there for the sessions, yes, you're there for the education, but what do you do in the in-between? And how do you really get to know your colleagues and your peers? It's within these networking experiences, these times where you kind of let your hair down and have fun, that you truly make lifelong friendships within this community. And I think that that's the reason, more so than just the education, to go to a conference, is that experience you get with people who love what they do, and you work in the same industry, and you get to vibe off of each other, for a lack of a better phrase. But it's just a cool experience, and I'm excited to watch it go into fruition. We've been talking about it for a long time, and it's coming up quick, and we're just getting really excited.
Sophia, tell us about your coworker there.
This is Mason. He's supposed to be sleeping. I tried to time it so right, and he just wanted to wake up. So he's joining for the party. He'll be in Nashville too. He is 16 weeks, almost 4 months.
Oh my
He'll
man.
be 6 months by the time we're in Nashville. So he's coming with his
Okay.
grandma and his dad. They're gonna have their own little parties. Wow. We're
Awesome.
Oh, I thought it was
working the
speaking.
floor. Oh well, you know. he might make a,
Pediatrics.
you never
Yes.
know.
You would draw a crowd for sure.
Maybe put him in the anatomy expo and they can work out, you know, something.
Hey, I'm
Yes.
curious because we have some viewers who are new members or recently received their CPCA certification. Um, and Jackie talked about a lot of the different topics, and they feel, and I know I'm not a coder, but they feel they're above my head. That's for sure. Is HealthCon for that new coder as well? And I know, like, I would say for the networking and all of that, yes, but tell me about the education and how they can benefit, how a new coder
Sure.
or maybe prospective coder could benefit.
Right. So if you're a newcomer, number one, are we still having, and I'll look at the conference team here, we're having that, that usually on the first day, we have that welcome to conference for the beginners,
rookies.
right? So
The
you
rookie
attend that session.
Yeah.
Attend the session where we're going to help you get through conference the best of your ability. But if you're sitting at home and saying, gosh, what do I do? What sessions? Really think about what your work is. And if you're brand new, I mean, we're having a session on modifier 25, the significant, separate, and identifiable case studies. So if that's something that you want to know a little bit more about, dig into that. We're having some things that are definitely basic, but not at a, I don't want to say kindergarten level, but it's a topic that's been around forever. It's not going away, and we are all still confused. So jump in there. Think about when you go to a local chapter, you never know what they're going to talk about, but you're gaining information. So find the things that interest you. It doesn't matter if it has to do with your work. It doesn't matter if you're working in any particular field. Maybe you're the foot in the door and you're working the front office. It doesn't matter. You're in it. Come here and pick the craziest things you can think of and listen. And you might find that, oh, that's where I want to go. That's the kind of work I want to be doing. So get yourself involved. So it's for someone who just is getting into it, because I can speak from experience. When I had been in the field for a while, maybe 20 years, I found myself always going to the same sessions because I trusted them and was comfortable. And you need to get out of your comfort zone. And this is your best opportunity to get out of that comfort zone and jump into something new. And maybe you don't understand everything right then. And it just feels good to like get yourself challenged. So challenge yourself. And if you are really brand new, then let it all be a wonderful challenge for you. Don't be scared of it. Accept it. Jump in there and hear everything and go to all those general sessions, and definitely go to that meeting on the first day on how to get through HealthCon. Oh, it's a great opportunity. I'll always remember my first, it wasn't called HealthCon then. I'll never forget my first experience. It was fabulous, fabulous.
And I don't know, maybe some viewers can relate to this, but there are times when I go into a new situation with a group of people who they have friends, and maybe you go in there and you're the new person and you're like, oh, I do not like taking that first step to get to know people seems so scary. But I highly recommend that you take that leap at HealthCon. If you go, there are many opportunities to sit and have lunch or breakfast with coders, and that could be your step or that path to that first job that you're seeking, at least making those connections that could lead to that first job. So it's a scary thing sometimes, but it's well worth it.
It is. And that's a great point, Alex. Sometimes for that general session, like if you go in there to eat and that room is full of strangers and the tables look kind of full and you're not sure if you should sit down or not. I'm that person. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I should sit there. You sit there, everybody's kind of feeling it. Plus it's morning. We're all just kind of getting ready for the day. By the afternoon, you'll be feeling different about it. But in the morning, just go sit down, just sit. It's fine. We're the only unique bunch that understands what the strange world is that we live in and work in. You're amongst your crazy peers right there. Nobody
Yes.
else understands what we did. Right.
Well, guys,
Sorry,
Go
Alex,
ahead,
I wanted
Sophia.
to add, in addition to what Jackie was saying about, good stepping out of your boundaries or looking at other sessions, we also, in addition to the great sessions, we're doing these boot camps where you can either, it's an accelerated experience for either taking the CRC exam or the CPMA exam. So if you're kind of like, that's where you're headed and you want some really in-depth, quick, let's go through everything with a live instructor and talking about it. And then on the last day of the event, you're going to be able to take your exam. So you could walk out of HealthCon with a new credential. So, which is really exciting. And I think that it's one of those great opportunities at this event. We haven't done this in a few years and in this structure. So this is kind of a new thing we're doing. So if you're kind of looking for that next credential or wanting to get into risk adjustment or auditing, this could be the perfect time for you to come experience HealthCon, meet your new boss while you leave with your new credential. So.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. I love that. Well, you guys, we're at the hour, we're over the hour mark. Dave, Melissa, Sophia, do you have any final thoughts about HealthCon that we may have missed?
Just come. If you're on the fence and you're not sure, especially if it's your first time, just do it. Most everybody that we've talked to on site there that's come to it, with it being their first time, they're like, I had no idea it would be this great. I'm coming back. So yeah, if you're on the fence, I'd say just go for it.
Jonathan Hiltner says, based on the employer, do they help pay for these events? And you guys have experience with speaking with members in that. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, our research shows that we've done over the last few years, 80% of attendance, 80% of attendance is paid by employers. So that's a pretty big chunk of our attendees that, talk to your employer, because if you're certified, they want to care about your education and make sure you're getting the continuing education units you need to continue that. It's a great opportunity. So yes, most employers do. We've got some notes on healthcon.com. There's some tips on how to discuss it with your employer and some talking points to bring up. So if you're wanting to go down that route and talk to them, absolutely do, because 90 or 80% of the time they're willing to cover it. So
all right. So Jonathan, if you struggle to find that information or would like those talking points, feel free to message me, and I'd be happy to help you find where that is located. Jackie, so good to have you on again.
Thank you so much. And sorry, I'm double duty here, but thank you. It's always fun. Always a pleasure to see all your smiling faces. Thank you for the time.
All right. You're welcome.
See you in Nashville.
Yes.
See you in Nashville. Yeah.
Yes.
And see you too, Mason.
Yes. You guys hang on with me just for a second. To our viewers, just a reminder that this broadcast will live on the AAPC Facebook page. You'll also be able to find it on our YouTube channel or podcast in the coming days. So it'll be posted there. So for the podcast, to search for the AAPC podcast. We are grateful to have you guys with us, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.